This is Tracey from Esther 414 Ministries, and we are at the end of the day. It's been one of those days. I tell you, it started with, I couldn't remember anything. I got everything out of order. Have you ever had a routine and you do certain things a certain way, and then your routine kind of gets busted up by something, and so you forget this to forget that, and then the whole day just seems like it starts off kilter, like you're standing on one foot and someone's getting ready to shove you over to the side. Well, that's been my day, okay? It's just been kind of like that today. So I'm scatterbrained this morning. I forget to do this, I forget to do that. I get to work, okay? I sit down, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, man, this is already starting to be one of these days. Maybe I should just turn around and go back home. And I think, okay, no, I'm going to go ahead and push through. So I click on my computer. What happens? The computer decides it wants to have a bad day too. Okay, so I'm talking about the screen won't pull up over here, this won't go on here, my phone won't work over here. Okay, I'm in customer service, right? I have to talk on a phone all day long, and it's not going to work. So good grief. That's been how my day started, okay? That's not even going into the rest of the day, all right? And then what goes on in that day, okay? The enemy comes along, and the enemy likes to put little things in your mind, okay? Like, oh, guess what? They picked out your computer specifically, and they want to jam you so you can get in trouble, or this is going to happen over here, and one thing after another. And what does he love to do? He loves to get us to worry about things or to think about things, and then we're off on this wild goose chase, and it never comes to pass, ever. Okay, so on top of the enemy getting you to worry about things, then he makes you think, oh, this person doesn't like me because they're not talking to me today, or this person gave me a bad look, so I know that they hate me, so I'm thinking that I know all these things, or what's going on in another person's life, or what they're thinking, and I don't know anything. I have no idea. Come to find out, I'll find out later that this person over here, they weren't thinking anything bad about me. They were just involved in what they were doing. Notice that I looked at pretty intense, so they didn't want to say a word to me, but they didn't have anything against me. See, that's what the enemy tries to do to us. And the Lord tells us, he says, and casting down all imaginations and bringing every thought into captivity. He tells us that because if we don't bring those thoughts into captivity, the enemy will have a field day with us. He'll just throw one thing out there after another. And you know what I'm saying? And then we'll start grabbing a hold of them. He's just throwing it out there to see what we'll go ahead and snag onto, or what's going to work. And then we can just run with it. And there we are running with it for the rest of the day. And it's worrying us. It's tearing us down. It's burdening us. We get to the end of the day and we're just overwhelmed. Okay. This is my daughter, Hannah. And let me ask you a question, Hannah. Have you ever had anything like that happen to you?
Definitely. I think it's expectation versus reality. We make plans for the day, and when they don't come to pass the way we want them to happen, like, I want to do this today, I want to do this today, this has to get done, and unless this gets done, I've messed the whole day up and it's just not working. And I've done that before. One Saturday I was making breakfast. I have in my head, I'm going to make this great breakfast. I'm going to make muffins. I'm going to make eggs. It's going to be perfect. And Mom and Dad are just like, okay, we just have to run a package off and we'll be right back. As soon as we're back, breakfast will be ready. I'm thinking, great, this will be great, this will be perfect. And so I make the muffins and I'm thinking, okay, great, this should be back any minute now. And then I'm thinking, okay, 15 minutes later, okay, I'll start working on the dishes, clean up, must look nice when they come home. And then I'm thinking, 30 minutes later, what's going on here? Did they get in a car crash? Did a tire blow? Did something go crazy at the post office? What is going on? And I'm thinking, 45 minutes. I'm like, okay. And then I'm thinking, I'm really worrying at this point. I'm like, oh, good grief. And then, knock, knock, knock. Guess who's back? Hi. And what happened was nothing happened. the enemy just kept on putting crazy thoughts in my head and imaginations of they got in a car wreck. Something's wrong with the car. Something happened. And then you come back and you're like, hey, we saw a garage sale on the way. We got you a new tank top. What do you think? I'm like, are you kidding me? I feel so foolish right now. I'm like, good grief. And then when we're thinking and we're running with all these imaginations, we're not trusting God. Our eyes are not on God. We need to trust God. Mom and Dad are okay. God's with Mom and Dad. I don't need to worry about a thing. Breakfast happens when breakfast happens.
Exactly. And do you know, sometimes I think what we can do is we can cut the legs off of the enemy by, first of all, we got to grab a hold of those thoughts, take them captive. And then second of all, we can do things to, like I said, cut the legs off of the enemy by, like, okay, in your case, you could have given us a call and said, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm just calling to make sure that you're okay. Granted, okay, we probably could have called too and let you know, hey, Hannah, everything's going great. We just found this great garage sale. But we're thinking, oh, no, she'll be fine. We're not that long. And in my case, like with when I'm worrying about people thinking about me or something like that, I could just say, hey, how are you doing? All you got to do is just go straight to the source and you can find out. But a lot of times, see, the enemy doesn't want us communicating. He doesn't want us going in and finding out exactly what's wrong. He would rather us just ponder it and just stew over it, and do things like that. So that way he can get us in fear or worry or whatever. And the Bible tells us, do not be anxious about anything. Don't worry about anything, but by prayer and petition, make your requests be made known to God. Now remember, the main thing that the enemy's trying to do is steal. Yes, it's steal, kill, and destroy, but he wants to steal from your reservoir of peace. I notice he tries to do that to me a lot. He's always trying to take my peace. See, he can't take my salvation. He cannot take that. That's sealed, okay? But he can try to steal my peace from me. So I gotta be on guard. I gotta make sure I'm realizing, wait a minute, this is the enemy trying to come in and do something. And then what do? I gotta go to the Lord. I pray to him. I give that to him. I give those concerns to him. I listen to what he has to say. And if he's guiding me to make that phone call, to knock off that worry or that fear or whatever it might be, then I go ahead and I do that. And I trust the Lord. See, the tactic of the enemy, it's like what you were saying, Hannah, it's to get your focus off of God. He wants to get you unstable by focusing on everything else around you, whether it's your circumstances or a person or whatever it might be, instead of getting your focus up on the Lord. And see, that's where our strength is. Our strength comes from the Lord. Thanks a lot for joining me at the end of the day. This has been Tracey with my special guest, Hannah, saying bye from Esther 414 Ministries. Cheers!